Yeah, so you think you can't just go become a great actor based on just your instincts? Do you need
that's
a tough question, right?
It's a really tough question. I think that, for me, and I'm not saying something like revolutionary. I think if you look at my work, for example, like you see it right there, there is, for me, the construction of character is really important, and finding who that person is, and that voice and body and movement and rhythm and pace and all of those things help to make up who that character is I'm creating.
Yeah.
There's just as valuable, Harrison Ford, for example. Harrison Ford is, spoiler alert, I'm looking because he's got a statue right here. He's not transformative, right? He's essentially Harrison Ford, right? I mean, he's not Brando or De Niro or and not that.
But
I'm
he's
saying
effective.
that better.
He's
incredibly effective, but it's about does he just have incredible instincts? I don't know. I don't know him personally. I don't know what his process is.
Right.
But but for me, it's about using all of those tools that I have now to try to completely invent in every way who this character is, how they're the same as I am, and how they're different.
So you're doing all these plays in college, right?
Yes.
And what happens after? Were you aspiring to do film and television, or was it theater, something you just wanted to do for the rest of your life?
No, I was just talking to somebody, actually, Emmanuel Shrieky, on my podcast about this, that for me, it was only theater. That was all it was. And thinking back, because I just had this conversation with her on the podcast, that I don't even, film and television never, it just almost wasn't even something I thought about.
Wow.
Never. That's really
crazy.
Didn't.
It just seems to me that every actor wants to get an Oscar. Every actor wants to get it's like, I have to admit, like when I was in college, I was watching Tarantino movies and going, I like theater, but man, I want to do movies. I want people to see me. I want.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely, I don't know. I think for me, that was just, not that it wasn't achievable. It was just not something, it was not the path that I was on, I guess.
Yeah.
And maybe I just sort of thought like, oh, that's for later or something. And here's a story I don't think I've ever told. And Harrison Ford, now it's all coming back to Harrison Ford.
Sweet.
I had a friend who I met in Chicago in the Cherub program before my senior year. We stayed friends. And she had moved to LA, and she was actually on a television show. And she became very good friends with Callista Flockhart's best friend.
Harrison Ford's wife.
And she invited me to come out to the premiere. You could figure out the date of when this was. I'm going to say it's circa 1999 or 2000.
Okay.
The premiere of, I think, Midsummer Night's Dream. Was she in Midsummer Night's Dream, the movie? I believe it's Midsummer Night's Dream.
Well, she'll forgive you if you're wrong.
It was invited me to the premiere, and I was at the premiere, and my friend lived around Westwood, and so I was staying with her around Westwood, walking through Westwood, going to Coffee Bean for the first time. The weather was amazing, and going to the premiere, and Faye Dunaway was sitting right behind me.
Ooh.
And that for me was like, oh, I like it here. I want to be here now.
Really?
That was it.
That feeling.
It was like, oh no, I belong here. And I grew up in Atlanta, so that was my home. I mean, I was born, raised through high school. That was my home. And I was in, Dallas and then Minneapolis. Like I said, I was kind of based in Minneapolis, and I was traveling around and doing theater in all of these places. I was like a regional theater actor. So I would go where the work was. And, but I never had a home for sure. I never had a home. And I visited here on that trip. And it's such a cliche now, right? It's like, well, yeah, you were at like a humongous premiere. You know, they rented out in Westwood, you know, like an acre of land and turned it into the forest. It was Midsummer Night's Dream, right? Yeah, it was Midsummer Night's Dream. 99. In 99. That's this fucking steel trap of a memory right there. 1999, Midsummer Night's Dream. And so it's like, oh, you're at a premiere and there's Faye Dunaway. Of course you're going to be seduced by it.